crappy nutty surprise.
This is Kugel peanut spread from Kraft. It not only tastes like peanuts, it comes with flavors. And chocolate, vanilla, banana, and cinnamon. Kugel spread's creamy smooth, too. And it's delicious on bread or crackers or almost anything.
And it doesn't make my mouth stick together.
And it doesn't make my mouth stick together.
You'll love Kugel, the crappy nutty surprise.
Yeah. Next Friday, you can see me and some other comedians at the Comedy Store, the central vortex of the comedy universe. I'll be there in the original room with the D's Nuts, put on by Vargas Mason. And anyway, come on down. There's a QR code if you're into that kind of thing, or you can go to joelmarshall.com, or there's a link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Chuck Goldsmith is going, so that's another incentive to show up, because you could, get a picture with Chuck Goldsmith. And happy Bare Naked Friday. That's today. We're gonna be getting naked later on in the show. I'm just springing that on my guest. My guest is Aidan Park. A lot of you might know him. He's like hilarious professional comedian. So I'm really excited. And he also wrote a book. God, he wrote a book. And I read it too. It's awesome. All right, so we're moving on. We're gonna get to the breathing here in a second, but Blas. There you are down there. How's it going? It's good to see you.
I dropped my hat.
You did? Oh. I wanted to tell everybody, while you're picking up your hat, I wanted to tell everybody that on my birthday, which is this Sunday, at 7:49 Pacific time, PM, I should say PM there, 7:49 PM, Rocktober 23rd, we're having the Upside Down Joel's Birthday Horror Show, which we like to call the Trauma Supper. You excited for that, Blas?
Is that what we're having?
Yeah, we're going to have Trauma Supper.
And when is that?
That is on
That's
Sunday
gonna be,
at 7:49 p.m. online.
7:49.
It's
PM.
Yeah.
Pacific time.
Pacific time. So what are we gonna have? We're gonna have Jack Franklin. You know Jack Franklin, the hilarious comedian who is also does Jack's Horror on YouTube. He's gonna tell a horror story. We've got Katie Sweeney is gonna tell a scary story. Who else we got?
Katie Sweeney. Yes. We have some scary story shorts. Serge Love is going to be making a stop.
Oh my God! Really?
I believe, Roxanne Beckford has
I hope so.
Very good story to tell.
She does? Oh my God.
Richard Gaddis is lining something up as we speak.
Okay, good.
And a couple other people that are going to be coming on that have been on the show and are waiting to be on the show as well.
It's interesting because our guest today is also doing a horror musical that we'll talk about later. This is Lunch Therapy, though. There seems to be horror going on right now on the show, but we're going to get to the non-horror. Sven de Kock, all the way from Belgium, he says, horror today? I never made it to the end of Blair Witch. You got to make it to the end of Blair Witch because it's not worth it otherwise. The end is the best part.
I tried to watch Blair Witch at the movie theater, and I got a headache about 20 minutes in or 30 minutes into it. I think it was 30 minutes into it. It was just moving. I wasn't used to that movement.
You got a headache.
Movement.
You know,
Yeah, because of the camera movement, I was like, and you know what? It just
happens.
reminded me. I kept hearing my mom's voice in my head because when I used to carry a video camera around back then too. You know, everybody had a video camera, and I documented all our family stuff. And when we'd watch it, my mom would go, "Why is it moving? Why are you moving so much? I'm getting a headache." And her voice was ringing in my head. So when I went to watch Blair Witch what is it called?
Blair Witch Project.
Blair?
I think you were ahead of your time, Bloss. I think is what it
What
was.
was it?
I think that's what you're trying to say.
I think I was like,
Bloss, can you straighten up your face?
I mean,
Because
you
we
know.
got to do some breathing. Or maybe the breathing will help you straighten up your face. Because your face is looking kind of Jabba the Huttish. Is it something, maybe
What do you
something with
mean?
your, maybe you ate some peanuts or maybe are you allergic to anything?
I love peanuts. No, I'm not allergic to
Because
peanuts.
something's
I-
really
I-
messed
I
up
quite
about
like
your
peanuts.
face. Really messed up.
Let's get some breathing.
Let's
Come on.
get some breathing.
Yeah,
I've got my favorite, of course, healing vibrations. This is something that we had earlier, earlier on, a couple months ago. Healing vibrations. Oh, I love this one because it's like 8-bit or something. Howard Aronin says, Aidan is so fun and funny. I know. And I'm so glad to have him on the show because we need that here on Lunch Therapy. Happy Rocktober.
The guy
Richard Gaddis is here. Richard's going to be telling a
guy's
story,
got
right? You said that.
Energy.
Oh,
Unbelievable energy.
oh, Aidan?
I said Richard's working on a story for Richard is working on a story for Upside Down show on Sunday. He goes, I might have one.
Oh,
I'm
good.
not sure.
Good.
I said, let's get sure.
Let's get sure. Okay, now, let's get sure and breathe here before we bring Aidan on.
Come on.
You want to lead the breathing? Because
Come
people are really clamoring for your breathing skills lately.
Okay, let's breathe in. Everybody just relax. Relax.
Okay.
We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the toes. Inhale. Hold it.
Hold it.
Let it go.
Last year on the Trauma Supper, we had Frontman from the hilarious Netflix series. Did you see that series that had the Frontman in it?
No, I didn't see it. No.
Maybe somebody in the
Okay, we're going to
chat
take a
room
second breath.
could tell me what it's called.
And we'll just take
through
a
the
deep
nose.
breath
Squid
this
Game.
time. In through the nose. We're going to go out through the toes. We're going to hold that breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, let it go.
That was a long one. Your face is still looking a little weird.
Remember when you
Still looking a little weird.
when you let it go,
Yeah.
you gotta drop them shoulders. You gotta drop the shoulders. You gotta let it all out. You gotta relax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, let's take a third breath, all right?
All right.
In through the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it. Hold it. Let it go.
Chuck
There you go.
Goldsmith
Let it out. Let all
says
that carbon
max
monoxide out.
headroom.
Drop
on
your shoulders.
Cinemax.
Drop your shoulders.
Frontman
I'm
might be
feeling a
available.
little bit better.
Oh, you got a weird little
feeling a
person
little bit
waving
better.
now, and there's like a weird person in front of you waving. Oh, phew.
What?
I don't know, man. It
I
is
feel
messed
better.
up. It's a little
I
messed
feel
up.
better.
Feel good though, and
What
Aidan is in the green room with Boney, and both of them are breathing today. It's like they're, whoa, that was cool. All right, I want to show you
I
something.
feel a little bit better.
I want to show you a musician that I found. Check this out. John Butler. It's another thing just to calm us down before the interview here. There's a guy named John Butler. He's got this John Butler Trio while your face gets back to normal.
Oh, this is good vibrations.
Isn't it? It's nice. I just thought it would be another good thing for our nervous system today, because mine's a little out of whack, as usual.
I love acoustics.
So
Guitars.
I can only play a little bit of this, but if you go over to John Butler Trio, you look up Ocean, you can hear this whole thing. I just wanted to share it because I was...
Can you tell how special that guitar is?
Yeah, it's a beautiful 12-string, right?
Yeah, it's
And
a...
look at
it's a-
how
I think it's a 10.
used it is.
Oh, it's a 12. It is a 12.
Yeah.
He's got the 7 on top.
Jose, the trick to 12-string guitars is make sure they're tuned. That's the hardest part, to keep them in tune. Because they're very, a lot of strings. A lot of strings on there. And if they're out of tune...
The space is so tight. I mean, you're more likely going to be playing 2 strings.
Well, you do. You always play 2 strings. So basically...
Right.
You don't try and play the individual 12 strings. Look at that.
That sounds possible. I mean, if you're a grown man with grown fingers.
Which I am not.
Oh. True.
All right, we're going to get to Aidan here because Aidan's got power, and it's going to be coming here. Oh, no. All right, so check out John Butler Trio anytime. Let's get into this thing. It's Interview Friday, powered by the hummingbirds.
See my yarmulke.
You're a weirdo. You are a weirdo, Blas. I hope your face gets rectified by the dance break. That's what I'm hoping, because otherwise we're going to have to get you like an EpiPen or something to make the swelling go down. These are elephants. I just thought I'd bring you some elephants just for some animal therapy on the show. So Aidan Park. A lot of you know him. He's a fantastic comedian. He tours. He is all around Los Angeles. He produces his own shows. He wrote his own book, The Art of Yay, which we're going to get into. We're going to talk about. It's a really great inspirational book. It's very much along the lines of lunch therapy, because it is about bettering yourself, keeping your mind right. Plus, he just tells a great story because his life is super interesting. And Joel has tiny hands. Yeah, I'm like that guy.
Yes, very small
I know.
hands.
They're very tiny, very tiny.
I remember the first time I shook your hand, and I was
you-
like, "This is a little hand inside my hand.
It's like a little child's hand. Yes.
It's like
very
a child's
delicate.
hand inside my hand."
So Aidan
But
Park,
Deji's a grown man.
I'm introducing Aidan. Blas,
Oh.
Guignol?
Introduction. Okay.
enough with the hand thing.
Guignol's got me. Guignol got me. Remembering the first time I shook your hand, and it was very disturbing.
I know. It is, because they're just tiny little hands. Anyway, let's get on with this thing, because obviously I'm blowing the intro. Aidan Park is an actor. He's a comedian. He's an author. He's an inspirational speaker. You can go to his website.
Playwright.
He's a playwright. He does musicals. It's the craziest thing. Let's get him on here. Ladies and gentlemen, Aidan Park, Interview Friday.
I can't say that I know the secret to happiness, but I can tell you a surefire way to be damn miserable. Build your life around other people's idea of what is good and bad. That is I can guarantee you'll be miserable. I can guarantee misery there.
I love that, what you just said. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
Hi.
Hi. It's great to
Woohoo.
see you. It's great
Hello.
to see you, man.
Good to see you.
I like the breathing thing. You know, I just came back from a week long. Do you know Joe Dispenza? I did a week long Joe Dispenza.
You did?
retreat.
No
Yeah.
way. Tell us a little bit about
I
Joe
just got back from
Dispenza.
that dance
Tell us about your
workshop.
experience. So Joe Dispenza is a guy who talks about the brain and all kinds of things that you can do with your brain. He's like a doctor, right? And he's like
He was a chiropractor
okay.
who got thrown off a bicycle and lost his movement. And he meditated himself back into health. And so he is all about meditation and about quantum healing and stuff. So I was there for a week doing
For a week?
workshop.
You were there for a week?
Uh-huh.
Lucky you.
You had to get up at like 5 a.m. every day and go to the,
Ginny Sykes is saying,
we
I love
meditated like 14 hours in a day.
Ginny Sykes saying, I love Aidan. I just want to say thank you, Ginny Sykes, for hooking us up with Aidan Park, because otherwise he doesn't take my calls. But as soon as I said Ginny Sykes, boom. So okay, sorry, I totally interrupted you, which is my way sometimes. But yes, I would like to go to one of those ceremonies. Did you have any kind of like an epiphany while you were there? Did you have any kind of, what happened inside?
I had a lot of epiphanies.
Did you? That's nice.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Some people say it's hard to sit still and they don't want to meditate. Did you sit still for a long time?
Yeah. So I actually have been meditating for a few years now.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm reading Chuck's comment as we're crap. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reacting as I'm reading.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, it was great. In that, like, when we're stimulated, we forget that we're actually energy. And so when I'm like not as stimulated, I can feel the energy travel through in my heart. The breathing that you did earlier is actually an energy movement, right? It's like Kundalini breathing a little, right? It's like you hold it.
Yeah.
And if I'm still, then I can feel the energy going through because we're all waves and energy. Mm-hmm. And so it was really interesting to really dive into that sensation, because when we get so busy doing things, we forget.
Yeah.
And if I'm still, I can feel the waves going through me. I know that sounds weird, but
no, it doesn't sound weird at all. I was just talking to this new friend of mine. He was just saying that your wavelength that you're on is very important. And he was talking about that. He's saying people are kind of vibrated at a different wavelength. And I don't understand too much about this. This is my friend Candido Carter. He was saying, and he studied a lot of metaphysics, and he says that there are wavelengths that people are on, and you can change your wavelengths as well. And sometimes if you find yourself like kind of like you feel like the world's against you, you can change your wavelength and make things flow a lot better. Do you have that experience?
It's a frequency, right? So the idea, I mean, I don't know. This is what the idea is. The idea is, in our dimension, third dimension, things vibrate at a certain frequency, which makes it like solid. So solid, like this is a pen because it's vibrating at, pen frequency or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So, but when you are really at a higher frequency, you're on the fourth dimension, and it goes higher, fifth, sixth, seventh, so it's higher. But within the third dimension, you can wave slowly or you can wave fast, right?
Yeah.
So, I think people who are on a low vibration are on the lower end of the third dimension.
I remember now. That's the thing that really got me into the Joe Dispenza thing. Is he was studying brain waves, right? I mean, actual brain waves with electrodes on your head, and what you were saying is there's these different states that you get, and people talk about being like in an alpha state. And he has these different levels. So what were some? I'm just curious. What were some of the exercises that you do in a week-long process? Are there different classes that you go to, or what happens exactly?
Yeah. The idea is that I guess we are not Is this say yes? I am doing the musical
We're
thing
gonna
on
get
Elm
to
Street.
that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that.
Look at that. Who is this person?
It's a famous thing that's happening.
So what were we talking about?
Well,
So the
Jason
idea
Edelman
is
said,
that
"Who is the
are-
you speak of?" Now we're getting really deep. Who's the you
Well,
speak of?
okay, in the clearest, in the most
Yeah.
simple version, I'm gonna try to do this.
Okay, good.
We are in this dimension identified by my name's Aidan. I'm an Asian guy. Blah blah blah. I'm a gay guy. I'm on Joel's, lunch therapy right
yeah.
now. Blah blah blah. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when we close our eyes, we're actually just a consciousness. That's the idea that Joe is saying. So once we disconnect ourselves from all of our identities, then we can go and step into the quantum field and pick and choose what we would like to be and come back as a person that we would prefer. So, it's we become nothing and no one. Step into the quantum and think about what kind of person would I like to be? Would that be a more open person, more loving person, more caring person? And you can vibe at that vibration because it holds a certain vibration of frequency. So you're bringing it back. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a very good job of it. Go to the Joe Dispenza workshop, but it made me happy because
love
I
that.
had this one
Yeah.
big moment
Yeah.
where I was like, I've always had an eating issue, man. I'm always like worried about my weight. Always.
Me too.
Always.
Me too. Yeah. I'm
Are
with
you really?
I'm totally with you. You were talking about how you were kind of a fat kid.
Yeah.
And I was also a fat kid, and it made me my whole life. It's like I think about it constantly about how much I weigh and how much fat I have, all that stuff, just relentlessly. Yeah. So tell me.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Relentless.
So you've always thought that too. Yeah.
I thought that, and I'm afraid of food. So then I actually did this exercise where I actually stepped out and I was like, I would like to be a person who is not afraid of food and loves food, makes love to it. I love eating, man. Yeah. I love food. So I'm like, okay. But I also want to love my body.
Yeah.
So I'm a person who loves my body and loves food and eat as much as I want. And I came back.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't binged on food in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that's huge for me.
Yeah.
Like, very interesting.
Well, things happen on a subconscious level, and then you just see the results, and you're not exactly sure. Maybe.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Why do I think I don't binge anymore?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't even think it matters why. I think it's just whatever happened in that, meditation week.
Well, I don't want to be a weirdo, but I'll say that I wasn't going to go there, but I'll go there since we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so the thing is, like, we all have like these traumas, right?
Yeah.
And when we receive healing, like energy coming in, right, from your top chakra or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like healing your energy. And I remember I had this, and this is such a weirdo. I was sitting there and they were like, think about what your life would be like if your life were the way that you were envisioning it. And I pictured myself eating freaking fried chicken and fucking, I'm sorry, can I curse?
Yeah,
Sorry.
of course.
Like chocolate
Yeah.
and I literally started shaking. And I was like, am I healing myself right now through fried chicken visions? And I did. I was like, I can eat whatever I want. And then I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, I look fantastic. And I'm eating this thing. And I'm like,
Do you think you're an emotional eater? Like, is that what you did when you were a kid? So you had a lot of difficulties. I mean, it sounds like a really difficult life to navigate early on. You grew up, you started in Korea, right? Were you born in Korea?
Yeah, I was
in
born
South
in
Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you there again?
I was there until I was 9.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Yum Yum is my fun mantra. Yeah, I love food. I love food. Oh my God. Like I was even like, I don't even know if I want to be alive if I can't eat what I want.
Right.
Like, what's the point? Like,
It's tough. It's a tough one. I just find that the reason I love food, I don't necessarily binge, but I like to eat constantly. Like I like to just always, and that's always the thought is like, what's the next thing that I'm going to eat? But then because of my food phobia, I am afraid to eat anything. Like if people like order pizza, I'm like, I take on the stance, I don't eat pizza. Like I start to deny myself, and then it becomes even worse, because now I'm not allowed to eat like other people, which is.
I just want to be able to eat whatever. I really do. Like, and that's it. Like, I don't care, man. Like, look, this is like a spiritual kind of thing. You guys did the chakra thing. Look, if we die, we go back into like love soup, right? We're supposed to go back into like other energy, right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. One of the benefits of being here is sex and food. So if you're not going to enjoy sex and food while you're here, why are we even here? Like, go back to the love
point.
What and I'm not advocating suicide, certainly.
Yeah.
Life is fucking hard, but what makes it worth it? Food and sex, okay? Look.
Sven says, Aidan, you're talking about traumas and not caring about your past. Bit of a contradiction.
What are they talking about?
I don't know, but
what are you trying to tell me? What does that sentence mean?
I don't know, but I'm wondering, we are all contradictions. Don't you feel like we're contradictions of everything that we say has like an opposite?
Sure, we're dichotomies, right?
We are dichotomies, and that's one of the fun challenges of life, I think, is that it's so you just never know which way it's going to go because you can guess, but God knows. So you have done a lot of soul searching, I believe, because you had some struggles, right? I mean, do you think like having those struggles kind of made you be the great performer that you are today?
Yeah.
And is that
yes?
You came here.
What?
I got to tell people that don't know this. I mean, I'll just tell a little bit about it. You can read the book.
Sorry about that. I'm not doing a very good job of being my own bio.
Don't worry. I know you don't want to talk about it. It's fine. I just want to let them know.
No, I'll talk about it. Okay, fine,
I mean, maybe you're talked out about it, but it's an incredible freaking story, man. And it's in your book.
Okay, fine. I moved here when I was 9 from Korea.
Yeah.
And I was raised in government housing in San Francisco by my single grandmother because my mom was threatened with deportation because we came here undocumented because she brought me in here because we didn't have any money. So they didn't approve us. So we came in here through Mexico. Okay. And my mom was threatened with deportation of the IRS with her by her then boyfriend. And he said, I got into dental school in Boston. You need to come with me and support me through dental school, or I will report you and your son to the INS. So then I was raised by my grandmother in government housing in San Francisco on $600 a month. I graduate high school. I got good grades. I got good SAT scores. And I'm still undocumented. And I find out I can't go to college and I can't get a job. So at that point, and I'm also gay, so I have a lot of trauma there. So I started being a hooker. I was a Craigslist hooker. People bought me. I'm like literally the evidence Americans will literally buy anything. Like people didn't know what they were buying, man. I would put out Craigslist ads, and I wasn't good at photos, but I was great at copy, thank God. Mm-hmm. And so people bought me without knowing what they were getting. I was the original NFT, okay?
You were the first one.
The first one. And so I did that until I got HIV when I was 19. And then I was fucked. I was fucked. And then I was also fucked. And I ended up being like, I was homeless, and I ended up being like Edith Piaf. If you know who that is, she's a French singer who would sing on the street. I would go to cabarets in San Francisco and just.
Did you start singing? Okay, so you found performing when you were in high school, right? From doing a musical. Is that correct? And you didn't really even speak. You didn't speak English. You spoke just Korean mainly.
Not really, not well.
Broken English, basically. And then you auditioned for this thing, and you said that kind of saved your life. I mean, as far as like.
Yeah, I auditioned for the musical, and I just thought at that time, and I had a limited perspective at the time.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be my ticket out of whatever situation I was in. because for the first time I was like, okay, here are people who appreciate me. Here's other gay people. Here's people who seem like they're living the American dream. Because at the time I was like, for me, an apartment that wasn't government run seemed cute. At the time I was like, oh, like these people have a car. Like, and so I thought, okay, like I guess I'm very I have an opportunity to have a good life if I follow this path. And it was the first time I was really encouraged to do this.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chuck. And I pursued. It was the first time I felt like someone like me could get anywhere. Because I had a lot of internalized shame around being gay. Also, I didn't like that I was gay. I tried to pray the gay away. I prayed and I prayed and prayed. It didn't work because I'm still on my knees.
Oh my God. So basically it was a lifeline. Performing was a lifeline for you. And it still is, right? I mean, how did you start doing comedy though? Where did that come from? Like you're doing musicals and then tell me.
The PR thing. I want to ride this story. I want to continue on through line the story because it was a thing,
Good.
right?
Okay, do it.
So I was singing like this, and a voice teacher found me.
Yeah.
And said, "All right, Aidan, what's your story?" And I told him everything, and he said, "I will give you free voice lessons if you go and take empowerment classes, and I will send you there." And I had no idea what the fuck that was. I was like, okay. And so I just wanted the free voice lessons. So I went, and I got the same training that Tony Robbins got, right? So
Tony Robbins was trained by someone else.
Yeah, Tony Robbins got trained in this thing called neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh my
which
God, I want to
is
hear about that. Yeah.
a huge technique, NLP. And I started going to all of them, like Landmark, all of those things. And I don't know if you know Landmark.
The forum.
Landmark Forum.
Yeah, I took that years ago.
I never had any parenting. Yeah, what's your racket, Joel?
It's freaking mind blowing, that thing. That was amazing. You know, they have this thing out by the airport. Some manager sent me to it one day. They were like, "You should go to the forum." So I went to the forum, and what's your racket exactly? But they really put the thumb screws on.
You're carrying around.
Yeah, man, they really make you go deep there. Yeah, what's your racket?
The fucked up thing was, okay, I'll get to this in a minute, but at that time, nobody ever told me that I could be responsible for my life. I had no parenting.
Yeah.
I thought life just happened.
Yeah.
So I took it all in and I ran with it. And I became really good at getting things.
Yeah.
I actually ended up being successful at musical theater. I toured internationally. I did 9 productions of Miss Saigon. I was an actor. I started a couple businesses. And I got a boyfriend. Like things were going very well, and I did all of this on the back end, because I didn't want people to think I was a weirdo. Because back then, empowerment stuff was still considered weird. So I was a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. I did the Landmark thing, and I was applying those tools every day secretly. And people would be like, "How is he able to do all this?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but like I knew."
So you were like you're performing magic daily, getting your dreams, and people were like, well, "How's he doing it?" But you had a method. You had some methods.
Yeah.
What is neuro-linguistic programming? Could you just explain that a little bit more, so I could understand?
Sure. It's the idea that your brain and your life, perception, your perception is set by, right, Ginny? Right. So your perception is set by how you perceive, like the language inside here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Inside your head.
So you have to identify what the programming is in your head.
Yeah.
The first 6 to 8 years of your life you're completely like in the unconscious state, which means whatever people suggest to you is you just take it as reality. That's it.
Yep.
And so you're programmed.
Yeah.
The filter, exactly. Right. So you're programmed. And so if you don't know what you're programmed with and what you're living by, you'll just continue to live with the programming.
Yeah.
And the benefit for me was I had a lot of fucked up programming, and that's the benefit of actually having a really fucked up childhood is because you realize your programming, like some people just have like kind of bad programming and they just kind of can. In my case, I had so much bad programming that I could not have survived unless I was forced to take a look at what my programming was and address it directly.
Yes. Right.
So, right, gay people are going to hell. Asian people are never going to succeed. I'll be poor for the rest of my life. If I get anywhere, if I do anything and work hard, it'll all be taken away from me. Nobody wants me. I'm fat and unattractive. Like, imagine all of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And being gay, this was the most fucked up one. Was my family was Baptist, and so they would all be like, we're all going to heaven. And I was molested when I was 5.
Oh man.
So by my half brother, my dad had a whole other family on the other side of the country and had my half brother move in with me and my mom, and he molested me.
Oh my God. And you didn't even know about this family? But I mean, did you find out later? You didn't know what was going on. Obviously, you're just taking everything for fact.
5. I was 4 or 5. And so I thought that I thought that it was my fault because I actually
thought. Yeah.
I thought it was because I kind of, in some way, I kind of liked it because I liked the attention. I like.
Well, this is the problem that happens all the time with this kind of stuff is that people think it's their fault. And if you're a kid,
I didn't tell anybody about this till I was 35.
Wow. That's
it was
incredible.
like.
Yeah. So you had to seek out these tools because like otherwise you had all this stuff going on in your head and you had to seek out these tools.
Yeah.
Thank God you were sent to this person to at least start down the path.
The through line of that there, the problem with getting molested is my family says we're all going to heaven, but gays are going to hell.
Yeah.
And I had been gay. So as a 5, 6, 7-year-old, I expected that I was going to hell every day. And that there was something wrong with me, broken about me for years. And that was programming that carried through, and it manifests in being a Craigslist hooker. It manifests in,
Well, your programming, like we were talking about contradictions, your programming is contradicting. You know what I mean?
It made me crazy. It was very difficult.
Okay, I'm going to play this just to lighten things up. I'm going to play this TikTok of yours about negative self-talk.
I told you! You said
good.
You wanted me to
No, I'm really glad you're going down this line. I mean, this is the kind of thing that people need to hear because it's so practical and real and useful. It's just, this is fun. Here we go.
Is that facing the past enough for you, sir, whoever said that?
Positive energy.
Wait, I gotta play that again.
Hope your day gets better.
Shut the fuck up!
Positive energy.
So funny. That is so funny. But yeah, that's the way it is.
That's very funny.
Oh my God, who's that guy? Wait, just a sec. We seem to have somebody visiting us. Just a sec. There's me twice.
That is a very.
Let's see this guy.
That is a very funny.
Who is that guy? Is that the devil?
Very funny. You are telling people to positive energy, and they can say fuck off.
Oh no!
That is humor that I like.
Get him out of here! Oh,
that is the type of humor.
We can't have you here. We can't have you here fucking with this. This is important. This is important shit. So do you think that Do you think that doing stand-up comedy is therapeutic, Aidan?
Yes,
You do. Yeah.
I thought that. Because I did something early on in my career
Yeah.
where when I was writing comedy, I was like, I was dating an older guy,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like this big old gay bottom guy or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I had shame about both of that. I was like, like I have daddy issues.
Mhm.
Like there was bottom shaming in the gay community. I'm like, and then I
Yeah.
thought about it, and I was like, you know what? If I feel ashamed, I'm gonna talk about it on stage. Let's see what the fuck happens.
Mhm.
So I systematically started getting things I was ashamed about and bringing it to the stage.
Mhm.
And I realized that people, thank you, Ginny. I realized that people related. They were like, "Oh, I'm like that too. I felt bad or whatever. I feel similarly as you do." And I realized very quickly that shame is the great negative emotion multiplier. And we don't really talk about that. In the empowerment training that I received, it's very practical, and it's very it's very practical. Joel, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
it's very
Oh, yeah.
like, this is the way
Absolutely.
things are, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's not so much a caretaking. It's not caretaking. It's not like Tony Robbins goes to you and goes, "Oh, your trauma." He mostly goes, "Yeah, and monster yourself."
It's funny because what I
Like,
was
I've
thinking
had a lot of
about,
monsters in me, let's be honest, but
yeah, what I was thinking about with the Tony Robbins thing was that he thanks his mother for being somebody that was, I forget what the story is, but she would like make him go buy crack or something. I don't remember what it was, but his mother wasn't so great with him when he was a little kid. And he thanks her because he's the man he is now because he had to go through these certain things. Rather than just denying it, he actually incorporates it into his being, rather than trying to erase it.
Sure.
He actually says, oh, these are some obstacles that I had to overcome. Can you tell me something about the laws of negative emotion and thought momentum? Because you're talking about it in your book.
Yeah. So, there's this, well, I mean, that's a big question. So what about it?
Okay, so first of all, just maybe describe it. I mean, this way I see it from what you said, is that you have a negative thought, you have something occurs, and you decide to have a negative thought about it. And then that negative thought feeds on another negative thought, and then another negative thought, and you go into this like downward spiral. Is that the way it works?
So thank you. So you have a emotion, right?
Yeah.
If you have a thought like, "I'm fat,"
Mm-hmm.
then you get an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
That makes you feel ugh. And that feeling triggers another thought of the same flavor.
Yeah.
And it gets bigger. It's like tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
And you think, "I'm really fat." Then you feel even more, ugh. And then you watch My 600-Pound Life, and you're like, "I should be on that goddamn show." And then you go, ugh.
Yeah.
And then the Jenny Craig commercial comes on, and you're like, "I'm such a loser."
Yeah. Well, because a lot of times the commercials are trying to make you feel like a loser too, so you buy the product or whatever, So you get the solution to your loserdom. So it keeps spiraling.
So that's the emotional momentum. And what's tricky is, remember all that programming from age 0 to 8?
Yeah.
It's not so easy as just picking it up and throwing it. It's like, that's your reality, right?
Yeah.
And your body has now gotten used to the emotion. Your body gets addicted to emotional states.
Yeah.
And that's just normal, right? So if I'm disgusted with myself and that's normal, I don't even know that that's not supposed to be happening. That's just normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and your body actually has a system. that seeks safety in whatever you're familiar with. So if I'm feeling disgusted with myself and that's what's kept me alive all these years, because then it forced me to go ahead and sorry, give me 1 second.
Mhm.
It forced me to go ahead and act accordingly. Does that make sense? Like,
Mhm.
I'm disgusting and therefore I should stay thin. And if I'm thin enough, then I can get a guy to pay for me in times of need. Let's just go with that one.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Your body will fight you if you try to introduce a new way of being that is unfamiliar.
Even if the way of being is not a pro survival thing for you.
Right. Your body would rather be in disgust with self and be in familiar than love of self.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yep.
So and you have to fight this. You have to fight this.
And how do you fight it?
And I love that you asked that question.
Yeah.
I used to think, and I think this works for some people.
Yeah.
And I discovered this after I was widowed. Okay. I learned how to, because I really wanted to overcome you can't overcome. I don't think that you can overcome things like that. I think what that part needs is compassion and care and looking into. A lot of times when we have that position of like, I'm disgusting, the position that we will take against that is, you are wrong. You are the thing that's causing me all these problems, so screw you. Right. Gnail or whatever is right. Gnail. I don't know who that is.
Gnail.
Don't fight it, embrace it. So you go, I talk to it. I'm like, why do you feel like it's disgusting? Why do you feel like I'm disgusting? What is the benefit of, and you make friends with this point of view and understand it and become compassionate to it and integrate it. Because at the end of the day, that point of view has a good reason. It kept you alive for many years.
It's trying to protect
right?
you. Yeah.
Right. And I want to protect me too. So let's get on the same page about it and work symbiotically. Because I don't want to leave any part of myself behind, including the part of myself that calls myself disgusting. There's a good reason why you're here. I assume that there's a good intention behind all of these things that are driving my negative point of view, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So I've gone through and I've been working on integrating each of these things back and saying, you know, given what I went through at age 5, 6, and 7, it's pretty astounding that I had to adopt that point of view for my survival.
Yeah.
And I will not make an enemy of this part. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I was smart enough to have that point of view to keep me alive. Because without that, I could have just died. Right?
Yeah.
So make friends with it, understand it, bring it back in, give it a hug, and say, all right, now let's work together to move forward together as one.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of comfort in that.
Well, yeah, then you're not constantly battling yourself. Because then you're like making yourself wrong all the time, and you're like, you know, giving yourself a hard time for, you know, why am I like this? And then you just kind of reinforce this kind of thing. Now, you were talking also about reprogramming, where you where you actually write down, like you in the book, you talk about how you were at a comedy club and the person gave you a bad review, the person who runs the comedy place. The owner of the comedy venue, and said, you know, you're not funny. You were funny before in the audition, but you're not funny now, or something like that. And then you were like, how do I manage this for myself? Yeah. And you had a very specific method of doing it.
Yeah. So there's this. I use anything and everything, right, to just kind of manage. So this technique. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activation system. Okay. I think it's prefrontal cortex is what they call it.
Mhm.
Anyway, you know when you get a new Honda?
Yeah.
When you get if you get a Honda or a Hyundai or whatever.
Yeah.
All you see are Hondas or Hyundais on the road all of a sudden.
Right. Right.
Okay? It's because there's so much stimulation that our brain literally has a center that filters out information that is irrelevant to it. Okay?
Yeah.
So even looking at the screen lunch therapy,
Yeah.
the text, the bird, the sky, the clouds, the you know, the
Fonts.
thing going across the bottom of the page, the number, the red, it's just too much. Too much. So we filter all of that out. Now, that part of your brain will also seek evidence for what you hold to be true. So if some dude says, "You're not funny,"
Uh-huh.
and I feel bad and I focus on it, then my brain will run off and find more reasons why, why you're not
To
funny. So,
reinforce
like,
that. Yeah. Your brain will try and reinforce it for some reason. Right.
Yeah. And the more emotionally you feel about it, the heavier the reticular activation system goes, because that's a tough thing when a major comedy club owner says, "You're not funny."
But it happens to every comedian that goes out on the road anywhere. That will happen to them. And everybody says it.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, fuck them right now. But so I felt really bad though. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I feel terrible. So what you do is you have to first get out of fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you can't think straight.
Yeah.
So we breathe. I have a fight or flight stepping out of fight or flight technique, right? Because fight or flight used to be really useful when we were like, in the jungle and there would be bears coming,
right?
And we're like, oh my God, But now we have that same reaction when we get a bad text or a bad review we're not actually in danger, but our body reacts the same way. So in order to get out of that, there's a hack that I like to use. Heart rate variability breathing. You slow your breath down to about 4 to 7 breaths per minute, right?
Yeah.
I like to breathe in. Thank you, player one. I like to breathe in for 5, hold for 3, and exhale for 5. The breathing, like in the top, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You do that, and your body gets tricked into believing that you are now at safe.
Yeah.
So now we're at safety. Now that we're out of fight or flight, let's take a look at, all right, that thought, like that review I got about it. That person says, "You're not funny." What am I making that mean?
Yeah.
Because it's the meaning that brings us the pain. Anybody could tell me I'm not funny. But what am I making it mean?
Yeah.
That I'm not funny. Is that true?
No.
Is it? Objectively.
No.
Objectively, is it true? If that man says I'm not funny, does that make it objectively true that I'm not funny?
No.
And the answer is no.
Of course it's no. Yeah. So do you make a list of, what do you do? So then maybe you can throw it away, but do you make a list of do you try and support it? Maybe I am funny. Well, Ginny thinks I'm funny. Well, player one thinks I'm funny. Well, I did a great show last week and everybody there was telling me how funny it was. Do you go through that to try and reinforce it the other way?
Yeah. So actually, that I like to call that the reticular activation system override. Okay. So right now the reticular activation system is going in the direction of I'm not funny because you just got hit.
Yeah.
We clear the air, we neutralize with the breathing. Now we're at equilibrium. Now let's pick a thought that we would like to have. Ginny thinks I'm funny. Joel thinks I'm funny. Hopefully, I don't know.
I
I'm
do think
assuming
you're
you
funny.
have me
You're
on the
hilarious.
show.
You're hilarious.
Player once said I was
There's like
funny.
no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just keep making a list, and it's proven, you guys. 1 minute will get you in the momentum of the direction you want to go. 2 minutes, it's automatic. So the trick is 1 minute's long. The trick is we don't go, Ginny thinks I'm funny. Oh, but Ginny doesn't know what she's talking. Your brain will do that.
Mhm.
You got to fight that.
Yeah.
Ginny thinks I'm funny. And Laugh Factory. I got a standing ovation. I did this. I toured across the country.
You get
I
paid.
bring people happiness.
You get paid for comedy.
No.
Yeah.
Fools. I'm kidding. No. So yeah.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
I love it. I nerd out. This is like, I love comedy,
Mhm.
but my real passion is this, because that's why I launched the foundation, the Yay Foundation.
Yeah.
Because the empowerment, the thinking is what really saved me.
Yeah.
And
Can you tell us about the
there
Yay
isn't a lot
Foundation?
of-
You just got approved for a 401c3 or something, right? A nonprofit.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
Sure. So I was in I go to Montana every year to do a comedy show.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I go
Mhm.
is because I was mentoring this comedian in the Kalispell whitefish community of Montana.
Uh-huh.
And he had me headline the Elks Lodge and stuff. And he killed himself.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So but by then I had become friends with everybody up there. His girlfriend, all of his friends, I knew everybody. So once a year I go up there and we keep the same lineup and I do the show, right? In his memory.
Yeah.
Now this was my second year going back up there.
Mhm.
And by this time I'm doing a lot of speeches. So like the thing that I do now is I create curriculums for emotional wellness for organizations like American Cancer Society, Special Olympics, New Economics for Women. I kind of like create mindfulness empowerment curriculums based on what their needs are. So Special Olympics athletes are sad because they can't be as physical. Great. Let's do a mindfulness gamified version of the class. Or New Economics for Women. How can we encourage women to be more economically mobile, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I told them that I was doing this. Montana said they would like this program up there. I was like, okay, well, we need to find an umbrella foundation to support this. We didn't have one. So they said, what if we raise the money for you to launch it? Can you do it? And so I said, okay. And they,
Hell yeah.
the last time I was up there, they ran raffles and they raised enough money for me to file with the IRS. It was thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And I was like, this is crazy. They actually needed to raise $3,000 and they raised $2,983.
Oh my gosh, really?
I'm like, how did this happen? And so now, right? And then I got approved so fast. I got so now I have a foundation.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
Then Grand Junction, Colorado wants me to come and do this.
Got some applause.
So I'm really happy.
So that sounds fantastic. We've got a comedian that is one of the hummingbirds here who's like making a super career out of it in Montana. His name's Jack Franklin. Maybe he can get involved in that too as well. That would be really cool. I just love what you're doing. Can you tell us about, okay, you're doing a musical tonight.
Yeah.
Opening night. Can you tell us about that? Should I show the trailer?
So, yeah.
I'm going to bring Bloss on. We're going to look at the trailer here. Let's take a look at this.
1, 2,
What's going on with you?
3, 4, better
Oh my God.
Awesome.
I also choreographed and directed this. It's stupid.
You really? Nightmare on Elm Street
Absolutely
Dream.
idiotic.
Magic missile.
Oh my God! Right here on Lunch Therapy, we have people baring their breasts, their bosoms. Wow, this looks intense.
Let's dance.
Breaking the fourth wall.
She's breaking the fourth wall.
Time to stop and get the message.
There, that's you, right? You're playing
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I am.
Of course you are. I don't know what's going on with
You look
Bloss.
like a great Freddy Krueger.
Bloss.
You look like a great Freddy Krueger.
Oh no, Bloss. What are you? Where are you?
Are you
how'd
actually in makeup, or is that a thing?
Yeah, what's
is that
going
a
on
filter?
Bloss, what's happening?
What?
With it?
I
Is
don't
that-
understand. But
Oh no.
I don't understand. What's the pun? What's the pun?
I don't know what's
It's
going
like,
Aiden,
on.
it's like
your play looks
Wong Fu
fantastic.
things for everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the play.
I got to get people to come see it. Joel
Yeah,
and I are friends with one of the stars from the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
we are. That's true. That is so true.
happens to
Hold
be
on. Let's bring
A
us
very
all
good
up
friend
here.
of ours. We've traveled with her, and she's hung out with us, and she's adorable, and she's been on the show before, actually.
Amanda
Right?
Wiss. Yeah.
And Wiz.
We got to get her to
Maybe
go see
Amanda-
that.
excited.
If you're watching, maybe
maybe, right?
we can all get together and go see this play. He's got a 2-week
Yeah.
run.
I
It's
would
a
love
2-week run.
that.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next week Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And it's also a fundraiser. Is that
You have
right?
to go.
Yeah. So this, if you kind of want the story,
Yeah.
they said they wanted to do Matrix the musical,
Yeah.
and so I held 3 weeks aside, and then they were like, "We don't have time to put this together." And I was like, okay, well then let me do this, and then can I run it as a fundraiser for my foundation so I can bring the program back up to Montana? And
Oh
so
my
they were like,
God.
okay,
Oh.
so what we're doing?
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that's at the Hyperion, the Lyric Hyperion.
Lyric Hyperion Theater. I would love to see you guys there.
Oh my God, yeah. And
yes.
maybe we can get Amanda Wiss to be there. We can at least
I would
tell her about
love
it. You know what I
that.
mean?
That'd
That would be
great.
super fun. Amanda Wiss was
She's
the
in
very
town, She's in
first.
town and she's not busy.
I think she was the very first victim of Freddy Krueger. Am I right about that? Historians.
I
Yeah, Tina. Yep.
feel that might be correct.
Tina,
It's
yeah.
been a while since I've seen that movie, but she does die. I know that.
If you go, don't give it away. If you go to the lyrichyperion.com.
I just meant that
She doesn't
he
die.
stalks her. He stalks her.
I
and
already
he
gave it
chases her
away.
with
I already gave it away.
Scissor hands and holy shit.
Hey, you know what? It's the show is over, unfortunately. I want to just say, go to
We can go over
What do
a
you mean
little
the show
bit.
is
We
over?
can go over a little bit.
today's
We can
show.
afford it.
today's show is over. Not
We can
that show.
afford to
That
go
show
over-
is not over. Okay, I want to tell people where they can see your stuff though. If you go to theartofbeingyay.com, you can see where all of Aidan's shows are happening. And you can also find out more about him and about the work that he's doing. What exactly does it mean to get
And the book.
yay?
And the book. And the book.
Yeah, the book.
Book, Joel. Push the book.
I'm pushing the book. Pushing the
Thank you,
book, okay?
Bloss.
Joel read it
Thanks,
last
Bloss.
night. He read all of it.
It's a
He read
very,
all of it
very
last
good
night.
book.
He
And
ignored
we
all my
just
phone
touched
calls. He ignored my text. And
we
he
just
read the whole
touched the
book.
surface of how good it is.
It's salacious. It's salacious.
And it is salacious too. There's all kinds of Hollywood insider stories. There's all kinds of stories of being a prostitute. There's all kinds of great stuff in there. And it's a very it's a heartwarming insight into a person who is just extraordinary. And his name is Aidan Park, and he is right here. And yeah, we're gonna have to end the show though because it's that time.
Great.
Can't
Please
go
come
over.
see the Nightmare Show.
Yes, please come see the Nightmare Show at the Lyric Hyperion. That you can buy tickets right there. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 parody musical. All right, we've got one more thing to
We
do.
have to have Aidan back. We have to have Aidan back too. We have to have-
Absolutely, I'd love to
He's
have
got so
Aidan
much
back
more
on
to
the show
share.
anytime. I know.
Thank you.
So many insights and so much incredible stuff. Okay, here we go.
He's
Dance
adorable.
break.
He's adorable. He's adorable.
So you like the Golden Girls? Am I right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You grew up on the Golden
Who
Girls?
doesn't like the Golden Girls?
You
Who doesn't
what,
like
Everybody loves
them?
the Golden Girls.
What was it? Jenny Sykes is going next week. Oh, here we go. I better look at the comments here because there's important stuff. So Golden Girls was one of the things that brought you up, you like grew up watching Golden Girls. You were not. Did you grow up watching Golden Girls? You would binge watch it when you really felt crappy.
I would
right?
binge watch it. Yeah.
And why is that? Why would it help you? I never really watched the Golden Girls. What is it about that show?
It made me feel like
Oh
I was
my
at home, and
gosh.
made me feel like I could have friends one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
You know.
You could have friends some.
And
one
that you
day.
can have a community
Yeah,
and
I
you can
thought- I
support
didn't
each
know I could
other
have friends.
no matter how different you are.
That's great. Okay,
no
well,
matter how
anyway,
different- all
I've
four
got.
of those ladies are all completely different, but
I
they're
have
a
a-
family.
Yes, I have a Golden Girls cover song that we're going to play here, and we're going to dance around, and that's going to be the end of the show. And thank you for being here, Aidan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And yes, you're
Lovely,
welcome on the show
Aidan,
anytime.
lovely.
All right, this has been Aidan
Thank
Park.
you.
Dance break time.
This was fun. Thank you guys. You guys are
Yes.
awesome.
All right.
Yay! Yay! Get it? Yay! Yay!
So here they are. This is the theme song.
Thank you for being a friend. Traveling down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say
Lake Street Dive.
I hope
Gonna
it
cover
always will stay this
Golden
way.
Girls theme
My hat
song.
is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow? And if we threw a party
good,
and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the crowd and tap would say thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
Gotta get to the part where the guy sings too. That keyboardist has a voice as well.
Thank you for being a friend.
Very high intense microphone.
If it's a car you like, I'll surely buy you a Cadillac. Anything you need,
Yeah.
any time of the day or night.
Go to Lake Street Dive on YouTube. You can see this
I'm
band.
not
They're fantastic.
ashamed to say, I hope it always stays this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? When we both get older, with a walking sticks and hair gray.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being on the show, Aidan. Thanks everybody for watching.
It's hard to hear.
And over and out.
Sunday night, 7:49 p.m. Still gonna spend the time. Upside down.